How did you miss that shot?
I'm telling you, but I don't know, man. I think it must have been those Italian players going on vacation to the Bahamas and teaching them guys like that.
Alright, you bunch of sucks. Bad game, bad past couple of decades for Soccer Canada in general. But we've got the next new piece of information technology that's going to improve our game on the pitch and hopefully give us some good qualifying draws for the next World Cup. Let me introduce to you our new sports analytics manager who will help us get back to our first World Cup since 1986.
Hey team, my name is Ivan Wong and I'm the new analytics manager for Team Canada. So I'm going to be, using data analytics to really analyze your performance, analyze, new strategies, and really identify weaknesses that we can ultimately improve on to really change the game. And with my previous experience with the San Antonio Spurs, who actually won the playoffs this year, and with the Texas Rangers, who is a top-notch MLB team, I'm sure I can make a difference with Team Canada, and we'll be right back on track to getting to the next World Cup.
I mean, you sound like you know your money ball, all right? Like Texas Rangers, baseball, all that. But what do you know about soccer? Like, we're already a great team, and I think we're on track to success to make the next World Cup anyways. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so, on top of that, the exhibition games you play, the practices that you have are a great source of data. And we can really use that data to analyze it and to really track it and also to monitor each and every one of your performance.
Right, so if we know certain performance indicators within practices, what muscles are being used, we can, make sure you guys aren't running too much in practice. No more running drills. No, we're still doing running, we're still doing cardio. We're going to use it more effectively and more efficiently so we can get your best performance and best abilities on game rather than practice.
So you remember that World Cup game on Sunday with USA and Portugal?
Mm-hmm.
Clint Dempsey ran a top speed of 28 kilometers per hour, and he ran a total of 9,500 steps. So with that in mind,
with that information, we can take a look at our fastest strikers and maybe put them on the pitch in the last third of the game or the last half of the game, to invigorate our attack over some slower defenders and slower defense of the opposing team later in games, which will be important for picking up points here and there leading up to the next World Cup qualifying rounds.
So what are the other uses of sports analytics?
So for example, the coach can use it to draft players, to really analyze the opponents as well, and to have that data in hand. We were able to find the next big fit for our Team Canada.
So you're saying that you can actually analyze the other team and maybe look into how they play, how we can play the next team?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, and we can also use it to decrease injuries.
For example, some of our players have less capacity to run longer lengths on the pitch, so we want to use that to for example, the defenders on our team are running shorter distances, so we want to incorporate that into practices to reflect the actual gameplay, so that you don't strain muscles during actual training, and it also, again, like we said earlier, will help to improve performance because you're actually practicing what you'll actually be doing in the game.
Sweet. So how do we get started?
So I already developed a performance analysis plan on each individual. So after we run that, we'll be able to gain preliminary statistics on each and every one of you, and we'll be able to find all the weaknesses that the entire team has, and we'll be improving right away, and we'll be right there to the World Cup.
Do we use cameras? What do we use to track all this performance?
So with my previous experience with the San Antonio Spurs and the Texas Rangers, we actually use 3 HD cameras to really track the coordinates of each individual player, and then to track kind of almost like a spray chart of where they are, and then generating a heat map of where they will be going.
Cool.
Where they travel the most.
Let's get started.
World Cup.
Hey coach, you have a few minutes?
Oh hey. Great.
Yeah,
Good to see you. It's good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking I wanted to talk to you, so great. It's great here to take a seat. So yeah, I just wanted to take a look at what we've got in terms of data now. What are we going to do with it? We got this World Cup ties coming up for the 2018 World Cup, and we don't want to be losing any more CONCACAF area reaching games to the Bahamians and the Hondurans anymore.
Well, yeah, your conclusion is, pretty accurate, and or else, why would I be hired, right? So I'm here to really be able to really make an impact on the Canadian team.
All right. Do you have like an actual deliverable? What are we gonna do here?
So first of all, I don't think we have enough data yet to really be able to analyze the performance as a team. So what we really need to do is, get our team out there and get them to, wear technology out there on the field when they're playing.
Whoa. So we want our players to get out there, be faster, be stronger. Literally Red Bull gives them wings. We want them to be out there flying, and you want them to be tied down with more, materials, mechanical gizmos, and I don't see this seems like conflicting to me.
We're not trying to start an iRobot revolution here, but what we're trying to do is to have them wear practical wearable technology such as step counters in their cleats or in their shin pads. Something that's really feasible for us right now. And if we're able to get more data, then we'll be able to have results. Because right now we can't get results because we don't have enough data.
I see. So what's like the next step for you in this area? What do we think?
Well, besides adding wearable technology to our team, we can also hire another, or expand our analytics team and hire another individual that really knows the sport of soccer, right? Because I only know so much about the entire strategy, and I won't know as much as well as you do, right?
Well, yeah, but what's your job then? I thought you were the Waterloo varsity guy and you took this business analytics course. Like, what's the value of you then if we're adding someone else that knows more soccer?
I don't mean to be blunt, but we just really need someone to tie in the technological side of things with the operational side of the entire soccer team, right? So maybe hire a similar coach who has coaching experience, similar as you, but with also a technological background that can also relay the information to me. Since I'm the more technological one, if I'm able to get recommendations, on the sporting side of the strategy, I'm able to gain a better insight of what we should do in the future and how we should approach with the recommendations to our players.
Okay.
Here's Will Johnson, spreads the play skillfully to Rickett. Wonderful weight on that ball. Space here for Edgar. Closed down by Bradley, outside of the right boot. Header comes in from Ledgerwood, far post. Grady Rosario, offside. It wouldn't have counted.
Swap Stilo with Gomez. We need a higher passing percentage out there on the field.
Are you sure? Stilo has been doing great so far. Why take him off?
Yes, but his heart rate is really high, and for the past 10 minutes he's been a bit overwhelmed, and we can tell that his passing is going to decrease upwards of 65% in the near future. We need the best mix of players on the pitch right now. Don't question my decisions.
Right. I forgot we are now using real-time data to process the players and their performance with those wearables that they have on them. Are there any other changes that need to be made for the next play?
The opposing team has not been passing much. It's been taking about 70% of their shots without passing around in the box. I would most likely watch out for player number 7, going off on a long run on a breakaway. We need to get Edgar out there to play more defensively.
We're really taking famous sports analytic Vivek Ranadive's philosophy to heart this season, aren't we?
Yes, his theory is that if we can predict the future by 2 seconds, we have that 2-second advantage. We need to succeed by anticipating the play that the other team is going to make. It's the only way we're going to stay ahead of the game.
You got it, coach. Alright, so I've got Farmer here. What's your price?
Right, our transfer price we were willing to offer for Farmer is $30 million. We're not going any higher.
Just $30 million. I'm getting paid $32 million right now. What do you mean you just $30 million?
Right, but that's right now though. We've tracked some analytics on you. We've seen most of your games. We scouted you. We've taken a bit of deeper dive into the way your play is progressing, and we see your cardio and your ability to play defense is waning, and your only real ability is to score goals. And we see based on your level of performance that this is going to decrease over the next few years, which would mean that your transfer price isn't really upwards of $32+ million anymore. It's going to be lower to, at most, best value we're going to get out of you is $30 million.
That's
really
fair, I guess.
Yeah, it's,
He's got data to back it up, man. I think you should take it.
yeah, it's 2018 now.
I know how to kick the soccer ball around.
The managers, well, it's 2018 now though, the managers putting lots of money into analyst positions and investing a lot into their sports analytics, and now it's paying off with smarter investment decisions. You know, soccer's still not much of a cap era, but there's teams that are running on budgets, and you know, at the end of the day, we are a business and we need to make money. So with this information, we use it to interpret where players are valued based on where their play is going, or where their play might be receding, or where the may actually be improving. However, in your scenario, Farmer, we see that it's going on. You've sort of peaked and you're going on maybe a bit of a downtrend now.
Man, sorry, but he's got a fair point.
So it's not quite the World Cup, but Bloomberg Sports Analytics does provide some analysis through specific data analytics on major football leagues such as the English Premier League. During the season, certain teams will be given percentage chances of winning a title or being relegated, let's say for example from the Premiership, based on their current standing and expected future performance. So the predictive analytics that they use to do this sort of ranking system and projection on percentages of winning titles or being relegated is based on a performance rating that Bloomberg Sports gives, and it's over defense and offense factors. So Bloomberg Sports has developed an objective analysis that creates a performance rating for these teams based on numerous data points and factors in previous performance. These rankings are not solely based on previous team performance. However, they also factor in the importance of players and managers joining and leaving clubs throughout the summer, during transfer seasons, even in December as well. In the January transfer window, especially for the Premier League, can be important, as we saw with Daniel Sturridge coming to Liverpool. He gave them a rejuvenation after Liverpool had a bit of a slide and a dip in performance after a very strong start, which ultimately gave them that push to the final day of the season, where they're right at the opportunity to win the title at the very end, which some people thought that might not have happened. And they also use their mathematicians and engineers to do this. So some of the defensive metrics that they're looking for in the defensive attributes are they're ranking amongst players at same position based on defensive responsibilities. This is based on a z-score actually. So they're using normal distributions to measure the efficiency of the performance in specific defensive tasks like tackles, clearances, or intercepting passes. And on the attacking attribute side, we're looking at the ranking amongst players at the same position based on attacking potential, again based on a z-score, normal distributions of results on such things as ability to keep possession of the ball, so pass completion percentage, turnover rate, long ball completion, etc. And of course goal scoring potential. So we're looking at shot on target efficiency, set piece activity, goal conversion percentage, etc. So the third sport we're going to look at a bit more in depthly now is hockey. So in North America, NHL is, let's say, adequately up to speed on analytics. For example, the New Jersey Devils just recently posted a job within the past calendar year seeking out a advanced hockey analytics manager director, and the specific job requirements were to develop the analysis and develop the trends that they were going to use, and develop basically everything for the analytics department, basically implicitly stating that they had never done anything before, and Lou Lamoriello was reaching out to analytics for the very first time, which is kind of frightening, but at the same time it goes to speak to how old he is in the NHL, and how this is a very current thing that's happening, where teams are using more analytics, of course, with the salary cap, and finding, again, similar to Moneyball with our baseball example, with the Oakland Athletics, is trying to find more value for the dollar, for that $69 million that teams now can spend for the foreseeable future with their salary caps. So the next sport we're going to look at is basketball. We're going to look at the North American League, the NBA. So in basketball, we have a very unique aspect to it. Scoring points is based off of shooting a ball into the hoop. Because of the much more likelihood of scoring and a much higher amount of shots taken by players in a game. Basketball may be similar to hockey and soccer in that the game is kind of random and varies, but past analysis and trends can help predict future performance and its effect how players defend certain players, similar to how baseball is structured in terms of how far analytics are. However, NBA isn't as advanced as baseball. No sport is in North America for sure. But because of the very individual aspect like baseball has, like hitting a baseball and pitching a baseball, shooting a basketball can be analyzed in similar ways. So let's talk about LeBron James, the best player in basketball. He's not only an interesting player because he's so skilled, such a great attacker of the basket hoop, because of his size and skills at his power or small forward position, but he actually regularly looks at shooting trends from his opponents and regularly studies these trends leading into games. He's actually as much of a study and studious of the game as he is a skillful MVP player of the sport. A teammate of his, actually, Shane Battier, when he came to the Miami Heat, when LeBron was already there for a year or so, is actually noted as a player who brought LeBron up to speed on advanced analytics in the NBA and on shooting trends after the Dallas Mavericks beat the Miami Heat in LeBron's first trip to the NBA Finals with his new Miami teammates, which is interesting to note because Mark Cuban has noted publicly on ESPN's First Take of the Dallas Mavericks' use of actual stats and analytics on LeBron's shooting trends to actually match up certain defenses with primary focus on forcing him to take shots that he doesn't regularly hit and isn't usually comfortable making. So, for example, Dallas usually opted to use certain zone packages. That's more of a football saying, but they use certain zone positioning to force LeBron in a small forward position or wherever position he was most likely to play based on Miami's certain trends of shooting the basketball, to take shots that he doesn't usually make or shots that he doesn't even usually take. And especially with basketball, there's much of a pattern. The player gets into a rhythm. There's a predictable pattern for making shots. So they wanted to get him out of that pattern and rhythm, as well as make him get into a pattern and rhythm that he usually doesn't make shots in. So it's a very interesting sport, very similar to baseball in that there's a unique individual aspect to it that allows for analysis to really be descriptive and predictive on teams' play and individuals' play, but it's not as advanced nearly as baseball. But with analytics and analysis, teams are actually using it in their actual game planning and studying of the game and opponents to go and play in the future.